Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be part 6 to What If Naruto Was a Demon Lord? So, make sure to check out my Discord, I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Make sure to like and subscribe. This video is not actually going to have a like goal because I guess I kind of just stopped doing that, but it's nice to like and subscribe anyway. So that being said, let's do a brief recap of what actually happened in the last part before getting into the new material. So last time, Naruto was doing some things with the girls that he's had on his island for a little bit now, and not really else much other than that really happened. Naruto kind of went to the little demon bar thing, or the tavern, but he kind of just asked a few questions. He didn't really do much over there. And then he did find something a bit interesting. He found a scroll in Alice's castle, and then he found a lectern in his, or a place where you could put a scroll or a book or something of that sort. So, Naruto setting that down, that's where we left this last part off. And let's get into the new material of the What If. Sorry, I can't fucking talk apparently. So, as Naruto puts the scroll into the lectern, a bright golden light would shine around. Nobody could see anything, everybody would be blinded by this light. But as the light slowly receded away, Naruto saw that the scroll transformed. The thing it transformed to would actually interest him a little bit. The thing that the scroll transformed into is actually a black sword that he recognizes. It's the one he was using when he transformed into that weird plate mail like when he was transformed into that state that he could not control. He remembered drawing a sword, and then he couldn't remember anything after that. He remembers this as that sword. He picks it up now, notices it's quite heavy, because again, he's not in a strong enough form to be able to wield something that heavy that easily. So, with Naruto picking it up, he has to use both hands in order to try to swing it around and wield it. And as he's swinging it around, he notices, even with just the smallest of cuts, or little just swings, it shoots out massive waves of force in the direction that it cuts. So if Naruto swings it through the air, a wall next to him might just completely collapse, or it might chop itself in half, or something of that sort would happen. And Naruto notices that this sword is probably very powerful. Naruto focusing a little bit, he closes his eyes, before once again opening them. His eyes in his black mode now. Trying to control himself at this point, he picks up the sword once again. You know, just trying to control himself, make sure he doesn't, lose control because of all the anger and hatred and everything like that. As he picks up the sword, he notices it. It's much lighter, much easier to wield. It's pretty effortless now. Naruto notices this, and he's like, okay. So then he tries to go one step further. He focuses just a little bit more, and as the black freaking thing, the black pigment around his eyes, it starts spreading around his body, down his arms, his legs, and then, the rest of his body. Naruto just barely is able to hold on to his conscience at this point. The sword is completely weightless, seemingly no effort to swing it around or wield it. Naruto focuses once more, and the black chakra, or whatever you want to call it, starts receding back into Naruto's body. As this was happening, Alice runs into the room, sensing the weird presence that Naruto just let out. She walks in and she sees Naruto struggling to hold up a sword now that he's not in that powerful form anymore. She asks what he was doing, what that presence was, that evil presence was, and Naruto explains what he just did. He found the sword seemed heavy, and he wanted to see if he could control any higher form, so he took great risk, and he tried controlling that one form that he once entered and wasn't able to control himself in. He can now control himself in that, but just barely. He doesn't know if he could do it in a fight or not. She looks at him and she's like, well, that was kind of fucking risky. That was a pretty dumb move. And Naruto's like, I don't know. There's another demon lord. She looks at him, she's like, what? And Naruto explains what he heard at the tavern. How there's another demon lord that is supposed to be stronger than the demon lord that currently is inside of Naruto. And Naruto basically tells her, I need to figure out how to control that form that I almost defeated you with, and how to not take any damage from it. And she nods at this, knowing that Naruto is right. If he wants to be able to defeat this other demon lord and basically do his own thing, that he's going to need to be able to control forms at that height, or even higher, even more powerful than the one that Naruto had already used against her, that almost completely killed Naruto just by using it for a slight amount of time, completely knocked him out with burns and cuts all over his body. So she knows that Naruto is right. So she explains something to Naruto. That form is something that she's never actually got the opportunity to use before, because you only really use that kind of form with the specific Demon Lord that Naruto has. Since I am a weaker Demon Lord I have a weaker Demon Lord inside of me than what you have inside of you, my max power is that black form that you saw me use against you earlier. However, you have a form above that plate mail. And Naruto's like, what? There's a form above that one too? And she nods. She looks at Naruto and she says, remember how your eyes sometimes turn red? Naruto nods and he's like, there's a form above the black form. It's a mixture of those two forms. Your eyes will turn red and you'll have this fiery aura around you, but it's mixed with darkness, almost a void darkness. It's really weird to look at, but that's the form that defeated the Demon Lord that currently resides within me. And Naruto's like, oh, interesting. He doesn't know about this form, obviously. He's never entered it. And he didn't even know about any of his other forms either. The only one he really knew about was the ones he's entered, and he hasn't entered that one. So, knowing this, Naruto would start training. Physically and mentally. More mentally than anything, just trying to withstand that hatred. And some time would pass, and Naruto would be able to pretty much effortlessly enter, not the plate mail form, but he would be able to enter that black-eyed and black aura mode thing where it completely engulfs his entire body. And barely, just barely, he would be able to be conscious while in that plate mail form, where Naruto would be able to basically direct what he wants to cut and kill, but he doesn't actually, it wouldn't be to the certain extent where it would basically be like Naruto's completely in control of himself. He just can direct what he's trying to do. So basically, I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. Naruto's basically has a really, really difficult time controlling any form higher than the one that he can use to hold the black sword with pretty much no effort. So, with that happening, Naruto once again goes back to the tavern and knows that he has to do something. He has to take out this other Demon Lord, and before it tries to take him out, because they kind of have more of a rivalry than anything else. The Demon Lord that currently resides within Naruto used to be, I guess you could say, a rival of the Demon Lord that currently resides within Hell. So, Naruto goes down there. He enters through the gate of Hell, which is obviously at the tavern, and he makes sure that Alice and Hinata don't follow him. Walking inside, he notices that immediately, the second he walks through the gate, everything starts to get warmer, starts to get hotter. The farther down he goes, it gets hotter and hotter, and Naruto's like, whoa, it's getting kind of hot down here. Naruto's sweating at this point. So, as Naruto continues going down, he gets closer and closer to this massive castle in the distance, with a mixture of red and black brick. As Naruto walks up to it, he walks up to a massive gate that falls down as the second Naruto approaches it, almost automatically. A little weirded out by this, but Naruto continues walking across. At this point, it is easily 100 degrees Celsius, maybe higher than that. It's really freaking hot at this point. As Naruto continues walking forward, but almost burning up at this point. The only reason he's still able to withstand this much heat is because he is using one of his more powerful forms. He's not using his most powerful form, obviously, but he's using his red-eyed form, and he walks across the gate. And he's walking into the castle. Naruto opens the door to the castle, and the second he walks in, he cools off almost immediately, dropping back down to a nice room temperature. Naruto, once deactivates his little red eye power thing. I don't know exactly what I want to call those kind of forms yet. And walks throughout the castle. Stops for a moment and senses around him. And he senses something. Way up above him, probably about, 50 floors or so, because this castle is absolutely massive. Naruto senses it. An absolutely massive presence that completely dwarfs his own, unless he was to go into that black scale mail state. So Naruto starts walking up the stairs. Slowly but surely, Naruto makes it up. Closer and closer until he's only one floor away. Walking up that last flight of stairs, Naruto stares across the plaza that he's currently in, staring at a massive gate that seems to open up into a throne room. Naruto walks across the room and starts walking towards it. Opening the gate, Naruto looks straight forward, and there he sees it. The Demon Lord that he's been there for, or that he's basically there for. So as Naruto walks into the room, the Demon Lord looks up, and he stands up, getting off of his throne before walking forward. Naruto, expecting a battle, would basically activate his red-eyed mode, not wanting to show his full power just yet. The Demon Lord doesn't do that. He holds up his hand as a show of peace, and shakes Naruto's hand, and explains that he actually is the most powerful demon lord. Not Naruto, obviously, he's talking about himself at this point, and that there would be no reason for them to fight, simply because Naruto would just die almost immediately. And they don't really need to lose another demon lord. There's only 2 above the surface right now, and they need at least that many. They were hoping for at least 3 or 4, but 2 will do. 1, on the other hand, will not be anywhere near sufficient, so he's gonna have to leave Naruto alive. Naruto's like, he doesn't know exactly how he should react to this, and he explains that he killed some of the demons at the tavern, and the demon lord's like, yeah, I'm kind of mad by that, but I might punish you later on, but as for now, we can't really afford to lose any more demon lords, especially one of the more powerful ones. You're the most powerful demon lord on the surface. Naruto's like, on the surface? And demon lord looks at Naruto now, and he's like, you really think I'm the only demon lord in the underworld? And Naruto's like, what? There's more than one? There's more of you? He's like, I'm the king of the demon lords. However, that does not mean that there are others. You're probably about the pretty low-ranking demon lord, but you're the strongest on the surface. The underworld demon lords are much more powerful. Naruto asks how he can meet these other demon lords, or I'm gonna call the king of the demon lords Diablo because I can, and he explains to Naruto that in order to meet these other demon lords, he has to enter a tournament of sorts. A tournament that is basically just between a bunch of different demon lords, and Naruto has to fight them. And as he gets higher and higher up, he gets a higher and higher rank. And he can have more and more things from the underworld shipped to the surface, I guess you could say. And he can have different things, such as demons that go to Naruto's castle acting as servants or civilians in a society that Naruto could form on his own island. So with Naruto basically like, oh, that could be cool. He asks if he can enter this tournament. The demon lord would accept this, thinking that, whatever, he's not going to make it that far, because again, Naruto's in his base form at this point, not in any of his higher forms. The demon lord, thinking that this is Naruto's max, thinking he's one of the weakest demon lords he's ever seen. He might be stronger than Alice, but Alice is weak comparatively to most other demon lords. So he allows Naruto to enter. So, with Naruto entering the tournament, it would begin off pretty simply. Naruto would enter his red-eyed state, and he would one-shot most demon lords that came against him. Occasionally, he might have to go into this black-eyed state, but never, not once, did Naruto have to fully engulf himself in the black aura. So as Naruto kept getting higher and higher ranks, and more servants and civilians to his name, and more money, and more basically everything else, more powerful demon lords would start trying to come up against Naruto, go up against him. As Naruto's going through this fight, the main reason Naruto is actually here would actually be revealed. Naruto would actually be training, I guess you could say. Training in order to use his higher forms. Training to use that one red and black form that Alice told him about. So, as Naruto continues getting stronger, and many materials are being shipped up to his island, along with him having probably about 1,000 demons under his wing at this point, finally, an actual competitor would step out. One of the top 10 demon lords, thinking that he wants to take down this rookie a peg or two, comes down and begins to face off against Naruto. Immediately, Naruto would enter his red-eyed mode. It would be absolutely nowhere near enough. Naruto would be getting slammed around the arena with absolutely no difficulty. Naruto once turns his eyes to black. He gains a little bit of a power-up, but is nowhere near enough. The black aura starts spreading around Naruto's body, and Naruto once again finds himself completely and utterly defeated, completely and utterly not able to do literally anything. And this demon lord is probably around 1/10 of the power of the king of the demon lords, or Diablo. So Naruto knows that he needs to enter that one black form, or you know the one I'm talking about, the scale melt state. So Naruto doing that, the aura around him thickens. Plates start forming around Naruto's body. Naruto already has the sword at this point because he can use it, but now it's completely effortless to use, like completely weightless. Like before it felt weightless, now Naruto's like, it's literally like flicking around a pencil at this point. Naruto is able to do it literal no difficulty whatsoever. As Naruto focuses to control himself in this form, he looks up at the demon lord facing him, who has a little bit of a face of fear at this point at the power that Naruto is currently showing. Naruto takes a deep breath before charging at the demon lord, his sword swinging up into the air before slamming down, cutting the demon lord square in half, and Then, Demon Lord falls to the ground, completely dead. Naruto tries to calm himself down, and the black aura starts seeping back into Naruto's body. He goes down onto one knee, barely being able to hold that form for long enough. The other Demon Lords around Naruto would be absolutely and utterly shocked. The rookie managed to take down one of the top 10 Demon Lords. How is that even possible? Nothing like this has ever been seen before. Diablo, seeing this, thinks that maybe he should have the man closest to him take Naruto down a peg or two. So, the second strongest Demon Lord ever to exist, stronger than almost, like, anybody else, like, stronger than what, like, 6th Sage 1 Naruto would be back in the day, he jumps down and begins to face off against Naruto. Naruto immediately knows that this Demon Lord is on a completely different caliber from the one he just faced, and immediately he enters his scale mode. As the black aura once again seeps out of Naruto's body, the scales and the plate mail start forming around him. His sword actually lengthens a little bit this time, and it has little red specks on it. Naruto notices this and gets a little excited for what's about to happen, and he even notices that it's a little bit easier to control this form now, for some reason. So, as Naruto charges forward, he's outclassed. He's getting slammed around the arena with pretty much no difficulty. Naruto tries to cut, but the Demon Lord would dodge, or just simply catch his sword with pretty much no difficulty. Naruto barely able to dodge all of his attacks, but every blow that Naruto would take would deal devastating damage that Naruto would have to regenerate, taking out some of his stamina. As this fight would continue on, Naruto would actually grow slightly stronger as the fight goes on. And his sword would get more and more red specks around, before finally mixing into a sort of red and black spiral pattern. The sword now lengthened a little bit, and Naruto noticed something. His body suddenly felt lighter. His sword felt even lighter too. Naruto swung it, and as it swung, the man got cut. Naruto said, "What? What do you mean?" Or the Demon Lord got cut. He was at least 20 feet away at this point. So as the Demon Lord regenerates a little bit, he looks up and is wondering what Naruto just did. How was he able to do that? He wasn't even able to cut him before. What has he done? Naruto notices this and knows that this is going to be one of his only chances for him to actually, try to do something. So, with Naruto charging forward now, he seems to be faster, more nimble, and his sword seems to fly a lot faster, be a lot sharper than it used to be. The Demon Lord notices. Before he gets his arm chopped off, then his other arm, then a leg, and he's standing there on one leg and looking at Naruto. Knowing that this is his final moments, he closes his eyes before getting chopped clean in half. Diablo would be watching this and he's wondering exactly how Naruto is able to do that. Then an epiphany strikes him. That mode that he was in, that spiral pattern, it's the form that almost defeated him many years ago, that the Demon Lord currently residing within Naruto almost defeated him with. But he knows that he needs to take Naruto out now, before Naruto can use that and access it with the armor at the same time. So he jumps down, facing off against Naruto, who at this point would be considered one of the strongest Demon Lords to ever live. But that's where I'm going to leave this part off. See you guys in the next part, and which will most likely be the last part. See you guys later. Bye.